This call
Awesome.
is being recorded.
Thank you for calling in. Thanks for your patience. And yeah, let's get this show on the road.
Cool.
Please don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions at all whatsoever. That is totally fine.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you straight off the jump, man. I'm a big fan of yours, man. I appreciate what you're doing,
Awesome.
and been following Archangel Uriel for probably started about 5 years ago. And that
Right.
was probably around the time of my Saturn return when all this stuff started to happen.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to hearing what you got to say. One thing I will say is that I'm really interested in. See, I understand the idea behind tropical astrology, and I always thought that when you're looking up at the sky, you're looking at where the actual positioning is, not a man-made system of the division of the constellations.
Right.
So, because like look at Aquarius, for example, it's a smaller constellation in the sky, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. You want to make it so it's equal, but maybe Aquarius has some traits in the sky that makes it more potent. So for the small time that the sun or the moon is passing through there, it's delivering different traits or something maybe more potent during that time. So I'm just
well,
so for
that's
myself,
a
I'm just a
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll just finish this last little piece up and then I'll pass it off to you. But
Nice to see you're born
yeah.
89 too. That's awesome.
Yeah, are you 89?
90, the year right after.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm North Node
Okay.
Aquarius. But I just
Nice.
wanted to kind of speak to that because, yeah, unfortunately, there's so much misleading rhetoric on astrology. It kind of confuses people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you this recording with the audio recording of this, and you're going to get an email from WeTransfer. When you get that email from WeTransfer.
You just cut out right at WeTransfer. Hey, the line just went dead there. Still there? You still there?
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. Every time I speak to Aquarius, men and women, there's crazy interference. Like
Hilarious.
it really, yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like it's this active, adamant force that wants to block me. But whatever. I'm gonna send you this WeTransfer. I'm gonna send you this recording through WeTransfer. And when I send you the recording through WeTransfer, it's gonna include 2 articles. One is gonna be about why there's 12 and not 13 signs, and the other is going to be about a fucus. And so basically, the astrology, the zodiac belt, isn't so much man-made as much as it's a correction because of the mistake that people did before to just go off the constellations. So there's the size of the constellation Aquarius, but that's not why your sun's an Aquarius, right? If we were to actually look at what constellation the sun was when you were born, it was a Capricorn. But the reason why you're not a Capricorn is because of the seasonal influence of the tropical nature of the sun. So you were in the imaginary zodiacal space in the quadrant of Aquarius. And it's the mathematical angles that make it Aquarius. For example, we're in the equinox. In the constellations, the sun is in Pisces, but sidereal is placebo astrology. The reason why it's Aries season is because it's equal day and equal night. We're going to have that for the next season, the next 3 months. And it's the intersection of the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn that gives each zodiacal space 30 degrees each. So that's why tropical is accurate. It has nothing to do with constellations. That's just more ideology that got kind of filtered in, which confused people. But you'll read more in that article. And so I really appreciate that you said that, because what you said is true. There are properties of the energy moving through like Aquarius that's going to make it different than most others. This is why Jupiter like sped through Aquarius, but took its time in other signs. But other than that, yeah, you are the celestial spirit. You have the Cancer rising, so you have the title of High Priest, and your moon is in Aries, so you have the warrior soul. And so, as a high priest, you are the vibration of original knowledge, the warrior celestial, the original celestial. And one of my really good friends that I met in college actually had the sun, moon, and rising. And we were good friends for like several years. I think he was even born in '89. And I met him in University of Maryland in College Park. So your sun being in the eighth house makes you a knowledge broker. You're someone who people will snitch to, whether they know it or not, because in the eighth house you deal with other people as a celestial god, as like an ascended master. So the way this works is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but people in the eighth house, people will just kind of open up to you and tell you intimate details about them or knowledge about them that you may not even have asked them for. Or even if they're trying to hide it, you can just glean this knowledge from their body language, from what they don't say, even if you're not trying to figure it out. And is this something you may have noticed or realized?
Yeah.
And that's cool, because now to give context to this, the eighth house where your sun is in the house of other people's resources. And so relative to being in the house of, once again, other people's resources, it definitely goes a long way, because what this sets up is this sense of how uniquely you take the value you manifest in Leo, because as a Cancer rising, you have Leo. Leo's second house is one of the wealthiest second houses you can have. It's one of the strongest values. You manifest creative value. So your self esteem is influenced by the courage and passion that goes into how creatively you manifest money, whether through multimedia content. To give you context, this, you paid me so that I can talk to you, because I'm a Taurus rising, and so my second house is Gemini. So the way I manifest is communication. But with Leo, that's an extension of this. It's social. And so even though you have an individual personality as a Cancer rising, a sincere personality, you manifest this social performance. And so it brings much a higher income potential. But your eighth house is the other people's resources, other people's knowledge in Aquarius. So you take the creative value that you have and you invest it in other people. Eighth house suns, especially in Aquarius, you're very genius in knowing who to invest into, right?
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Because I my business is literally, I take people's social media content and then I flip it and create it.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. I have chills, dude, because I wanted to know what this looked like, and you just gave me the visual. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. That is lit. That is lit.
Man, my one homie from Hawaii, that I met him when I was living there. He does a podcast for a crypto exchange company, and I take that and then I create hype reels. I do his podcast editing for him, and then he pays me in crypto, and it's been like my main manifestation of wealth. So
I even have more chills, because the eighth house, I was going to say investments in crypto, stock, and real estate. So now we know it's good. Yep. Now we know it's going to be, bro. Let me tell you, man. May is on its way. We're like a couple months into May. We're going to have the eclipse in your 11th house. You got Jupiter, Mars. You're about to come into the biggest payday ever, where you're starting a brand new cycle into manifesting like the collectives and communities where you can basically pool all this money you've generated and come into major returns very soon, because the next couple of years is you coming into total career success. This year is your rising star year. Jupiter is what? 18 degrees. So you have your MC 22 degrees in Pisces. First of all, thank you so much for saying that. Really have to, like, that is so extraordinary, like, to know that that's how it plays out, because eighth house is investments into, you're taking your own money and you're investing it to gain more money. So to see that you get paid in crypto and Aquarius is relatively digital and futuristic, that's a really good look because Saturn's going through your eighth, and this is going to solidify these investment channels to where you're going to make even more extraordinary returns over the next few months. So Jupiter that's transiting through your ninth house is evolving your legacy. Your legacy in the ninth is you're meant to teach divinity. You're meant to teach the metaphysical. You're meant to guide and counsel people. Even if you were an atheist with this and you didn't believe in, spirituality and all this stuff, you're going to be someone when you teach engineering or something like that who stimulates people's imagination. You're able to show people stuff outside the box and the unseen, even in ways that are just mainly abstract. But your legacy here is one of the most divine, and with Neptune on this, you're on the verge of bringing into form your dream vocation, which it clearly sounds like you're living the dream life. And this is going to really ascend you up into when Jupiter goes into Aries in May and then comes back again 2023, where you'll be taking action to solidify and manifest your career success and the rewards from career starting in May of this year, where you're going to manifest all the right influential, wealthy people to pull all these resources around. So congratulations, because you've already done the hard work, especially coming out of 2020. And this is where, your existence in the eighth, I love how you tie this to really helping people, with their social media networks and internet. The Pluto square to Aquarius is different from the Pluto square to Leo. The Pluto square to Leo is people jealous of the performer on stage because people be mad jealous of Leo. People be also jealous of Aquarius, but it's different because you can throw tomatoes on the performer on stage, but you can't reach Aquarius. So people think that y'all have a god complex. People think that y'all are high and mighty, and they don't know that you're really high, like you're a high nobility. So like people be jealous that they don't have knowledge that you have. They're not in the know that you have. And the Scorpio square is this psychological shame tactic. Since they can't really take away your power, they can make you feel guilty or make you feel like you think you're better than others when you know you're better than others. But you know.
You deal in peace, my guy. You deal in peace.
Yeah, subtle difference right there. You feel me? But it's definitely also an extreme aspect that speaks to how much more powerfully and extremely you tap into what you love. Because now this is a lot of sexual tension that Mars in Taurus, opposite this Scorpio energy, will also facilitate very, very, very accordingly. And what we want to kind of illustrate with that sense here is more of this notion of how the sexual tension you generate with all that influences accordingly this sense of, the grounded and natural nature of one, how you take action, how you have sex, but also your determination. Because in Taurus, especially with Jupiter, this is Midas touch. In the 11th house, this is you being an individual leader. So, you're able to inspire friends around you to take action in ways that finish the job. But Jupiter is going to add so much abundance, and how your mind in Capricorn trying this processes who you're directly dealing with and how you manifest this with these people, that Mars opposition is going to be that sexual tension or extreme determination to take this physical strength and intensify it extremely. And so the detachment of your heart and spirit in Aquarius will balance uh, who you can trust with this intensity versus what boundaries you draw, right? To take all your power back. And then, of course, the moon in Aries is going to feel very authentically, you know what I mean, into how realistically or originally you feel into these opportunities out there for yourself, and how you also feel, the nature of authenticity of a person's character by virtue of their goals. So this makes a T square with the Capricorn and Cancer power, 89, 90, and some part of 91, we have Chiron and Cancer. And Chiron and Cancer opposite Saturn and Uranus and Neptune is not easy, because this is having to deal with this very psychological sense of reinforcing negativity or powerful psychic power with this emotional vulnerability. And Chiron being attached to your rising could be you overcoming a lack of confidence in expressing your personality. I know a Leo woman with this who was born 1990, gorgeous. It was for I couldn't get her on video chat because she felt like she wasn't cute enough, but she was gorgeous. And so this is really more so her having to overcome any vulnerabilities and just feeling into the confidence of her character. As a man, I don't think this is more so you caring about your appearance, but it can lead into bullying or just feeling insecure in early age, because Cancer now will tie this into how you feel about yourself. And this is also you healing the feeling of you, but and also how you can reflect this in other people. Since it falls in the 12th house, this is going to be a bit misunderstood, because as a celestial, okay, you're going to feel other people's insecurity of their own identity, but you're going to feel it as you because you deal with other people.
Mm.
And so this is where the Aries moon will be like, shit, that ain't me. I don't get like Aries, your Aries moon is a straight warrior. So it's not really insecure like that. So this is where it doesn't mean that you won't have insecurities, but you want to be very mindful, especially with Uranus opposite this. Cancer risings born in the in 89 and the 90s. Y'all are some of the most psychic people, because now Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn are in the seventh house. And so that brings this extraordinary, supernatural, intuitive element. By the way, the reason why I call us GOAT Squad, I will always say 88, 89, and 90 were the greatest of all time, because we have Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Saturn and Uranus and Neptune is the triple conjunction, once in a lifetime aspect that is so legendary rare. There's no one else that's going to have that alignment. Uranus is like one every 65 years, Neptune every 156 years, Saturn every one in the 30 years that met together. And so Uranus and Neptune indicate the extra dimensional energy and power that we draw out of this realm through imagination with Neptune, and then the causal realm of the mind with Uranus that only Aquarians, especially Aquarian suns, can tap into. And so we can draw with our bodies as an antenna all this extra dimensional phenomena and energy, and Saturn anchors it physically. And so in the seventh house, you're able to gain physical sensations that intuitively align to integrity, so that even with me that I'm talking to you, anyone in your seventh house, if they don't have integrity, Neptune will be like, they're full of shit. They're full of crap. It's a waste of time. Like you'll just get a strange or weird intuitive sensation that will let you feel if they're trustworthy or not. And then as a Cancer rising, you actually feel the emotions of everything
Mm.
your body is sensing. This is supreme supernatural power that make,
Man,
unlike, oh, go ahead.
you're really tying everything in here, because that point that you just brought in about bringing in the interdimensional power, that's literally what I've been talking about most recently, because on my page I talk about a lot of abstract things, and the people that do fuck with me are like, okay, this guy's got some metaphysical knowledge, and then and so it's just tying that whole segment that you just dropped on me there.
Which is awesome, because once again, too, a lot of how you process it, because all of us have this, right? But you have your sun in Aquarius. So whereas as a Gemini, I can be in my head and be so focused in the moment, I don't listen to what my intuition is saying. As an Aquarius, you have a transcendent, knowledgeable understanding of this that is expressly supernatural. You understand it like an alien understands it. And that's going to be misunderstood to the mortals on this planet, who are just going to think you're crazy as hell. But everything you're speaking on is genius. Like you're breaking it down from from above. Transcendent means you're breaking it down from a higher perspective with this knowledge of Aquarius. And because it's in the seventh house, you sense this as it pertains towards other people, as a high priest that sincerely holds space for people's bodies to snitch on themselves, because you'll be able to discern the body language ASAP. And so this psychic aspect in the seventh that has you discern this quality of other people's integrity and character, your Mars psychically acts off of this. This is where you intuitively can just know how to. So with a trine like this, you can just instinctually grab the keys and hand them to me right before I say, "Hey, can you pass me those keys?" Oh, thank you. And this is where your body could just move on its own, because it's just so intuitively connected in this physical sense. And it definitely goes a long way towards also realistically, tapping you into so much of this power, that now that Pluto has awakened this like never before, your mind's ability to process this in organized fashion, right, with Mercury and Capricorn, will structure how much more powerfully you can communicate it and direct the power, direct the energy, and whatnot. But other than that, Venus is here. It will clash with your love to network, but then Mars, which may want to be on its own and make more independent action. But this still makes you super strong nonetheless. Other than that, your destiny with the North Node in Pisces is to take this critical perspective and analysis in order to abstractify the metaphysical and to create your own religion of sorts, to kind of build a metaverse, or to build more so of a philosophy around living the dream job, or more so living the dream and being guided by these metaphysical concepts that now take people to a higher understanding of the divine or magic. Okay. But other than that, man, I definitely look forward to keeping in touch with you. And I'm going to send you this recording right now before the next person calls in.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm glad you touched on the North Node. That was going to be my my question. So, cool. Yeah, definitely telepathic, like interdimensional download there, man. Thank you.
No problem, bro. And you stay blessed as always. I'm going to send you this recording right now.
Yeah, thanks for being cool and communicating with me, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. And you stay blessed as always.
All right, take care, fam.
Cool.